Hello, and welcome to another edition of Your Bridge to Addiction Resources, a program that is hosted and sponsored by the Council on Chemical Abuse. My name is Yvonne Stroman. I am the Program Community Specialist at the Council on Chemical Abuse, and today with me I have a very special friend, someone who I've known for a little bit, but I've asked him to come and kind of talk a little bit about who he is, the work that he does in Berks County, and why it's of value to all of us. So I'm going to ask him to introduce himself. Let us know what he does in our community, and we're just going to have a little conversation this morning.
Okay, my name is Cruz. I'm a case manager up at Camp Joy, which is affiliated with the YMCA of Berks. I am a recovering addict. I was an addict for 28 years. I came to recovery through the grace of God. I gave my life over to Jesus, and because of a DUI, my last DUI, I had 3 DUIs, and after that, 2 weeks later, I went to church. I gave my life over to God. And then 7 months later, I was introduced to the YMCA because that's where I was sent for housing for 90 days to a DUI program, which the case manager there is my boss today, Ryan Herrera. So I was already being helped by COCA at that time. So that's the way I came into the program. Which then I incorporated AA meetings with my spirituality, which has made a big difference in my life today. So that's how I'm here today.
Well, so Lee, thank you for your candor about who you were and what happened and what it's like today. And one of the things that you mentioned as a case manager, that you are a case manager at Camp Joy. What is housing? What is recovery housing, transitional housing? What is that?
Housing, well, it's for guys, well, our program is for guys that are homeless, but are going through the Berks County Probation Parole Department. They have to be affiliated with them somehow. So they come to us and their lives are unmanageable. They are homeless because of their addictions to drug or alcohol or whatever it may be. So they come to us for guidance, some structure in their life that they don't have. So we advise them. We don't tell them to do anything, because if you tell people to do anything, they're just not going to do it. So we just advise them, and everybody that works at Camp Joy is in recovery, so they can actually relate to the people. They don't relate to every single one of them, but they find somebody there that they can relate to. And like I said, we don't tell them to do anything, we advise them. We have a lot of rules and regulations that they have to go by, but we're all addicts. We all want to do things our own way, which is, it is uncomfortable for anybody to come into the program and have to do something that you're not used to doing, because you're used to doing everything your own way. But being told, because when we're telling them to do stuff, we're giving them advice, but in their minds, they're like, I'm not going to do anything you're telling me to do, because that's the way we think as addicts. But in the beginning, it's like catching a bird. They fight and they keep fighting, but eventually most of them get it. I'm not going to say most of them, because it is a sad field, but they do the best they can with what they got at the time. So based on what you're saying, do they come in? You mentioned that they're part of the criminal justice system, and usually, their probation officer says you need a safe place to be. Camp Joy, why don't you make application? They come in willingly, under duress. What does that look like for them? Well, that's the funny part. Doing interviews, like we go to prisons and they're coming from a place that they really don't want to be, so they're going to tell you anything they want to tell you to get out of where they're at. Jail is jail, anything outside of jail is better. So like Ryan and I always say, we could tie lie detector tests up to a client while in jail, and they're telling you how much help they need and that they're willing to change. And at that time, that is very true. They want to change their lives. But the reality of the matter is that once they're let go, they forget the pain that they just frequently went through. So that changes their minds and their actions when they get out.
How long can they stay with you at Camp Joy?
We don't have a minimum number. We advise people to stay in our programs a year or longer.
Why?
Because recovery takes time. They
Okay.
were in their addiction a long time.
Mhm.
So you're not going to be cured in 3, 4, 5 months. It took you a long time to be in your addiction. It took you a long time to gain your tolerance in your addiction, whatever drug it or alcohol, whatever it was. So when you come into recovery, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of hard work from yourself. And if you're willing to surrender it all over to whatever your higher power may be, and a program in your life, and be able to use other people and take advice and listen to what people are saying, you know, and guide you in the right direction. If you're willing to do that, there might be some changes. If you don't, then you end up right back where you came from.
What are their responsibilities then while they're there? What is a typical day, or is it not a typical day, in terms of meeting goals to be able to continue to stay at Camp Joy?
Well, a typical day for a person that's just coming in, or a person, like the first 60 days is like, I have 5 things that I believe that guys should be doing. They should be searching for work. They should be looking for a sponsor, looking for a home group, getting all their basic needs met, such as making sure that they have some food stamps going, some insurance, getting their intensive outpatient treatment going to sessions, trying to find a sponsor, and doing all those things. Those are the main 5 things you want to do your first 60 days there.
Okay. And so with that responsibility, or with those tasks that they are I don't want to say required to do, what is Camp Joy's responsibility in terms of folks? Sometimes they come maybe with no money, no car. What's the support mechanism, if there's any, to help them move from point A to point B?
Well, for us, we're lucky enough to have been funded. We have 2 vehicles, we have 2 vans, and we give the guys rides to and from interviews. We give them rides to and from public assistance office, counseling. We make sure that if they don't have any money and they need IDs coming out of prison, we help them we give them a check and they go and get their IDs. If they need boots, if they need toiletries, if they need any kind of small clothing, that we don't go out and give them a whole new wardrobe, but we do try and help them out and get them on their feet. And with that, they start building some gratitude towards the program themselves and where they're at.
How do they support themselves while they're there? Is there a responsibility in terms of payment for services, so to speak, or how does that work?
Well, the way that works right now, whatever they go out, they find a job, and once they find a job and they start getting paid, they have their first month there is $25. Then their second month is $150, and then the following month is $150. They could get up to $325. If they get a job before that, which most guys do, then they pay 25% of whatever their gross income is.
Okay.
So anybody making minimum wage, $725 come out to about $290 a month. Anything above that is going to be $300 a month, which they never exceed that. They can make $50 an hour, and they'll never exceed the $300 a month. Okay,
but that includes everything. That includes their boarding. Their
they
food.
do pay. They all contribute $40 towards groceries a week, and that's not for the bulk of groceries. That's not meats and pantry stuff, dry foods. That's just for the staples, the stuff they go through real quick, like eggs, milk, creamer, sugar, water, stuff like that. And they all do that. They all put in their $40 a month, and then they pay $5 a day, for their daily rides to and from work.
Okay, all right. And so what about how do you determine someone's ability to leave? How does that happen? You can come. There's some things that you meet, goals that you meet, you're participating, you're doing those benchmarks that you mentioned. What determines someone's level to where they can then leave Camp Joy?
Well, we do their service plans, and as they complete each goal that they on the list, then if they feel comfortable with everything they've done, and we feel as if they have done everything to their ability, to the best of their ability, then again, I say no sooner than a year. I like to see guys stay there. It just shows that the longer you stay in a program, the better statistics are for you. So
sure. So you mentioned about your own personal story in terms of, you know, struggling with addiction, a person, a substance use abuser, and now you're helping others. How has this impacted you professionally, personally?
Well, on a daily basis, it impacts me. Just working with people, and I tell my clients this every day when I meet with them, I stay clean because of them, you know, with them being in front of me, because I never forget me being in that chair and reaching out for help. I remember the very first time I had to reach out to somebody else for help, and that was Ryan. And, you know, in a program, because outside of the program, it was my pastor, and I was with him for a year, but I came to Ryan 7 months clean. And then, you know, because when you come into recovery, you want to do everything. Everything comes to mind, you're clear. So you paint a big picture and you want to live in it right away. And I remember going to Ryan and saying, I'm going to write a book. And then you go to an AA meeting and everybody's got the same book. It's like, man, that's my story. Then the next week I wanted to be a pastor, you know? Okay. So you build these pictures and you want to live in it. And we forget that you have to take all these little steps to get to it. But then a lot of people come into recovery and believe that life should be perfect. But if you don't have your mountaintops and your valleys, you're not living life. So you have to accept the fact that life is a bunch of bumps. It's just how you deal with it, right?
Yeah, yeah. How can one, if someone is interested in perhaps learning more about Camp Joy, is there a website or is there a phone number?
You go to the YMCA of Berks website, and then you go under housing, and you pull up an application, you print it out, you fill it out, and you can fax it over to Camp Joy. I don't know the number offhand right now.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, I want to thank you for stopping by and having a chit chat with us, and just I want to let you know on a personal basis how empowered I am by your story and your willingness to change the quality of your life, and more importantly to help and benefit others. So thank you for that. Thank you. For those that are watching this show, if you'd like more information about the Council on Chemical Abuse, we invite you to visit our website at www.cocaberks.org. That's COCABERKS.org, or give us a call at 610-376-8669. This is your Bridge to Addiction Resources. I'm Yvonne Stroman. Thank you for joining us.
Check back every week for a new story with your Bridge to Addiction Resources. You can call 610-376-8669 or visit online at cocaberks.org. COCABERKS.org. Be sure to like and follow the Council on Chemical Abuse on Facebook and Twitter.